Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And a man who's been all over the headlines in the last year was a guy from Chesterfield who appeared on The Apprentice. He stuck out as a big personality and ended up on Celebrity Big Brother. Who would have known that in 2015 he'd be the big star and the winner? And ever since, he's been all over the tabloids and in the press. How are you, James Hill?
I'm all right, how are you?
Do you know, I'm good, but not as delicious as you. It must be really fun to be hot and young and at the top of your game.
I tell you, you're selling me well. I think you're my new best friend.
I'm a deeply unattractive man and I have a very, very small man sausage. What's it like to be looked at as attractive?
I don't know, it's quite overwhelming, I suppose, and I think having a profile only kind of it increases the people that recognise you and know you, but I think I'm quite humble and I don't know, it's quite easy for it all to go to your head, but you just got to remember, take it for what it is, haven't you?
I think with you, when we saw you on The Apprentice, that show is so tightly edited, as is Big Brother, so we don't know what you're really like, but it's clear that you're a bigger personality than most, and you certainly can stick out. You know how to hold yourself and conduct yourself. That's so important with those shows, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think The Apprentice isn't the show for people to actually see who you really are and all the sides to you. It is very edited, and they want each individual to play a part and a character in that process. So that's why I wanted to do something like Celebrity Big Brother or The Jungle, because that's a good platform to show the public who you really are, and more than just one side. And so that's why something like that was a great thing to me.
Let's go back and talk about your life, because it's been extraordinary. I mean, you were a businessman and entrepreneur. Now, of course, you're a reality star and a pin-up model. So it's a very different life. I mean, how has your life changed, for example, since winning Big Brother? Do you just live it the same, or has it actually physically changed?
People think you go on these kind of TV shows and your life would change, but they change in terms of what I do on a day-to-day basis. I've still got the same drive and the same ambitions than what I had before all of this. I mean, don't forget, for 25 years of my life, I've had a focus and I've been driven to succeed in business, etc. So, realistically, this is something that's very new to me. And I think where I'm at now is that I want to utilise what I've done to project me further in business. I want to continue in the media, but I'm still James Hill. I've still got the same family and friends, and I'll always keep those people close to me. I think it's very easy to get sucked into the bubble and be going out all the time to all these events and doing stuff, but I've got a vision, and I don't want any distractions really.
I spoke to Bobby Davro last week, and I was saying the same to him, that it's extraordinary how for 3 weeks you can be the biggest star in the country, and then by the next week we've more or less forgotten. I mean, they're so frequent, these reality shows. The winner of Big Brother will be forgotten by the next one. The winner of last year's X Factor's already fired by the time the new one starts. So it is a strange thing, isn't it, that you're there for a second and then gone, and you've got to sort of reinvent yourself.
Absolutely. I think that's why you've got to remember and have your mother hen, and don't put eggs in one basket. And as great as it is, being in the spotlight, as much fun it is, you've got to look at your future. And for me, it's about building something sustainable. And if the media contributes to my business ambitions, and I can, sustain a credible career, then that's something that we're looking at and we're doing. And we've got some great things in the pipeline. But yeah, you're right. You can be the big flavour, and then the next minute, the next person comes along, and it's very cutthroat like that. It's very hard to. There's not many people that actually cut it, is there, to be fair?
Not at all. Then I wonder about your profile as a Big Brother star. Does that work against you with some parts of business? How have they accepted you and talked to you since you've been on the telly?
Well, this is where, we are who we are. And, some people get you in life, some people don't. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to be yourself. And, it's about knowing when to switch it on and switch it off. And, I'm a normal, down-to-earth person, and I'll never change for anybody. Just because I've got business interests doesn't mean I have to try and be something I'm not.
Yeah.
And, if those people that take themselves too seriously in business, and even in 2016, for God's sake, it's about being able to have a laugh and enjoy life.
Yeah. And
I don't think that I embarrassed myself at all on that TV show. I think I stood up what was right and wrong, and, I showed, people that are understanding and things like that for people that had their own journey. So, I mean, So far, no, it hasn't, and I think it's opened more doors, if anything, because people like to know someone in the limelight. That's the world we live in, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, if someone's been on TV, they want a picture of them, or they want to talk to them, they find them interesting, they want to know about what they've been through, you know, how was that. So, you know, if you can communicate and engage with people, you can use it to your benefit.
Yeah. When friends of mine in the business say, should I go on I'm a Celeb or Big Brother, I say yes, providing you can be yourself, because they will catch you out. It's just too long to keep up a front, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you've just got to be yourself in life. And I think if you're a good judgment of yourself, then you'll know how you're going to conduct yourself and how you conduct yourself in day-to-day life. And if you're a bit of a pain in the bum and you can upset people, then maybe you should consider what you're going to do. But generally in life, I get on with everybody from all walks of life. I'm a people's person. I love people, you know, and I don't have many enemies. So I thought, you know, this is a great opportunity for people to see who I really am, because The Apprentice can cause quite a bit of controversy as well. It's that kind of show. So it's sometimes you need the platform, you know, just so people can see who you really are.
And you also have to remember, The Apprentice is the star of the show, not you. Their intention isn't to make you a star, is it?
Of course, it's about own sugar.
So let's talk about Big Brother this year. I mean, the big love affair last year was, of course, you and Austin. This year it's Stephanie. Well, you ended up in bed together, but not like they did. Do you think they've made a right move in causing all that? It's certainly got them airtime. Is that the sort of job you go in for when you want to be on CBB?
Well, I mean, you know, in terms of morals, I mean, that girl, Stephanie, apparently she has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
How that's going, I'm not sure, but you know, she's humiliated that man, and I think out of self-respect, that's not a nice thing to do. If she genuinely feels for this guy, there's a time and a place to do it, and you know, you've got to think about your image and other people's feelings.
I'm an old guy now. I'm 36. You're 10 years younger than me. It's very interesting how girls have changed. I am terrified watching that programme, how they just kick off and how violent they are. Is that what young girls are really like at 25 now, or is that just for the telly?
Not all. I think Celebrity Big Brother are good at picking the ones that are going to kick up a storm. They've been doing it a long time, and they've not created a TV show, haven't they? At the end of the day, come on, it's reality TV. That's what it's about.
No, but James, the way she kicked off and that sort of mental illness stuff where they start kicking and screaming like a 3-year-old, it is concerning.
There's lots of people like that in life, but there's lots of nice people as well. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, the nice people that probably aren't going to do that kind of thing aren't going to be as interesting to watch, are they? We're talking about Megan, aren't we? Yeah, she's a bit of a hot-headed, bless her. But I quite like feisty women, though.
Could you be tempted? Which one would you go for, Megan or Stephanie?
Megan, I think, I probably wouldn't go for either of them, but I think Megan's more my type than Stephanie. I think what Stephanie's done to her boyfriends, I think that's pretty ruthless, that. I do feel for him. I don't know the guy, but it's...
I admire him. I mean, he's kept his decorum and he's kept his mouth shut. Many wouldn't. I admire him for that.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? You know, why would you get involved? You just sometimes got to be the bigger person and get on with it, haven't you?
Have you been surprised? The one thing that amazes me as an ugly guy who's on the radio is how you get attention that you wouldn't get if you weren't on the radio or TV. Is it astonishing, the reaction you get? I see that just last weekend you were in a nightclub. I mean, that must just be a meat fest. You can have the pick of the crop. You
know, being on TV and being in the public eye, you know, it does attract attention. But I'm not someone that thrives off of that. You know, it doesn't worry me. You know, it's, end of the day, it's the public that voted for me. You know, I wouldn't have won it without them. So it's nice to be able to give something back and have a photo taken or just in a conversation. Yeah, but I think the difference between you and I is, you see, you're a good-looking lad that's always been popular and probably always be able to get the girls. I'm not that guy, and that's the difference, you see. You've probably had popularity your entire life. Is that true? I've always been, I would say, a popular kid. Yeah, 'cause I've always been a leader, if that makes sense. Right. You know, I've always been, you know, kind of in the group, been a bit of the lad and the funny one, etc. But just talking about you've got the voice, you've got the husky, sexy voice. Yeah, but you haven't seen the face. That's what's depressing. It's a shame. It's a real shame, James. You and Austin's been an interesting thing. You've formed a great friendship in there, but you do like to toy with the press when you start taking pictures in bed together. What is that? Is that just hijinks and fun, or are you just trying to tease everyone? Yeah, that's just banter, isn't it? You know, see, the thing is, everyone's got a big thing still about a gay guy and a straight guy having a friendship. Now, I mean, I'm so sure of my sexuality, and I've got many gay friends, etc. And it really, the sexuality does not have a part to play in it. You know, I like people for who they are, and you know, people still, tabloids and things, question it. But why question it? Why not just accept that it's a friendship?
I get that from your side, but he did make it pretty clear that he finds you a nice bit of trouser. I suppose that's the difference, isn't it? If a semi-naked woman was laying next to me, I might be tempted to sort of raise half an inch.
Yeah, but that's just his humour, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And he knows there's a line to cross, and he respects me, he respects my sexuality, and that's why the friendship works.
Yeah. Did you make any other good friends off that show? Because, I mean, it seems like you're all best mates, but ultimately you all go your separate ways and get back to work.
Rubbish, yeah. That's rubbish. I mean, you know, I've heard from very few, and I don't think anybody else has heard from many people. I think the thing is that you're in there, you're living together, and everyone thinks they're best friends, etc. And when they really don't, they're just accepting each other and putting up with it to get through, I suppose. But I did make a friend out of Austin, 100%, and I still keep in touch with Bobby Davro. I still keep in touch with, he's a lovely guy, and also Fat Man Scoop.
How would you have dealt with Tiffany in the Big Brother house? Because she's got no shame in coming forward when she finds you attractive. I think she'd have probably liked you quite a bit. Would you have been able to take her on, or is she a bit too much?
Well, she's another feisty one. Yeah, listen, that'd be no problem. I could tame her. That's easy.
I want to talk to you about business because this is your life story, and I'm fascinated by where you're at now. Are you a millionaire, very rich? Are you still fighting for the million? Where are you at in your life? Because you're still young, yet successful.
Absolutely. And I mean, money's always been a driving force for me. But the material side of it was more when I was younger. But, you know, I was doing quite well when I was younger, and I nearly got there, to be fair. And then the recession came and slowed me down. But for me now, my drive's for stability and security and freedom, and I think that's what money can give you.
Yeah.
It can give you that so you can wake up and not have to worry about your kids' education or paying your mortgage, or if you want to take your wife away, you want to buy your kid that, or, you know, whatever it may be. That stability is what is my driving force now. So, you know, and you know, I'm still driving, thriving. I'm still 28 years old. I've got a long way to go, and I've got a lot to learn. And I'm learning every day, and I'm still making mistakes. And that's a part of becoming that ultimate businessman, I suppose. Any businessman is still making mistakes and learning, and you do until the day you retire.
Well, it's not a science, is it, for a start?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
I think money becomes quite awkward, and people say money can't buy you happiness, but it's hard to be very happy if you haven't got any money to survive, isn't it?
Listen, I absolutely agree with that, you know. That's rubbish. People say that money can't make you happy is rubbish. But what I tell you, what can make you unhappy is the pursuit of money for the wrong reasons.
Right.
If you're pursuing money to be happy, then that will make you unhappy. But what naturally it does is you pursue it for the right reasons, then it can enable that freedom, that choice, which can make you happy. And that's where people get it wrong.
Do you pinch yourself as you sit there as a successful 28-year-old selling out nightclubs, doing these appearances, having the girls all over you, sleeping next to Austin, things like that? Do you pinch yourself that it's come to this? Because it is an extraordinary life, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's very overwhelming. I think sometimes you actually forget what you've done, what you've achieved, the journey you've been on, until you actually sit down with somebody like yourself, just relaying it back then, and you actually think, wow, when someone puts it in perspective, you know, it is quite overwhelming, because when you're actually doing it and living it, I suppose you take it for granted.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does, and sometimes you have to sit back and reflect and think, you know, wow, because I'm quite hard on myself as well. I push myself and say, you're underachieving, you need to be doing more, you know, you're not there yet. And, you know, I suppose that's what gets me out of bed every day. But then sometimes I have to sit back and reflect and think, if things aren't going quite right, how I want them to go, well, come on, James, look at what you've done in the last 10 years. Yeah. Look where you've come from, look where you are now. And that's important to do that.
Do you think we'll see you again on something like I'm a Celeb or another reality show, or are you done with that for the time being?
I don't much want to keep doing reality, because I believe I've got a little bit more to give than that in terms of maybe my own show or maybe presenting, etc. So, you know, we're working on a lot of potential formats. I mean, it's still early days, it's only January, and still doing quite a bit with magazines. I've got a pantomime. I'm doing a pantomime in March. I'm playing Prince Charming in Liverpool at the Epstein Theatre. and I've got a shoot tomorrow for a couple of the glossy magazines. So I'm still doing bits, just keeping my toe in the media, but we're just trying to create something now going forward that's going to be sustainable. I'm not interested in just having 15 minutes because I'd rather concentrate on my businesses. It's got to complement me and my vision.
What's your day like then? You wake up in the morning and you go straight to your laptop. How does it work?
No, I'm not a massive morning person. Everybody says you need to be up at 5:30 in the morning is bonkers. I think you have to, you live within your lifestyle. So I don't get up till about 9 o'clock. I don't do traffic.
Me too.
No, who wants to sit in traffic for an hour? So I get up, I like a bath in the morning. Usually I have salmon, avocado, and a nice bit of crusty bread in the morning. Just take my time, get myself ready, and then I'll get my diary out. I'll have a few calls to make, I'll have a few meetings, a few visits to do, and I actually sold my business before Big Brother. So I am just now re-strategizing, replanning, and I'm just looking at buying some trading assets at the minute in the sector that I'm going into. So I'm just planning and preparing at the minute for the next stage. And
in terms of your setup, are you a guy who loves cars and all that business? Are you into the Porsches and the Ferraris, or are you just a guy who's willing to turn up in a Fiat Punto?
Oh, no, listen, what young man doesn't like cars? I mean, Jesus, the Ferrari California is one of my babies that I love. I haven't got one yet, but it's on my agenda at some point, because if you can, you would, wouldn't you?
Right.
But, yeah, I love cars. I'd love a boat one day. That's one of my dreams, to have a nice, cruiser. I can just go and plod around with my family and my wife and just spend 6 months out at sea, just, visit different ports and things like that. These are kind of dreams that you have to have in life, aren't they? You mentioned the word wife several times in the interview. Is that something you're looking for right now? What's your plan with that? Because you guys have a strategy, don't you? Yeah, I'd love to meet a girl. I mean, I had a 5-year relationship that was a bit rocky, and I've been single now for about 18 months, and it's something that I'd love to meet a girl. I mean, I'm 28. I want to be a young dad. I mean, I've got a young father and a young mum, and it's the best thing that I ever had. So I want to be able to, have kids in the next 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I'd like to meet somebody. I'm fascinated by that. How come you can't meet someone? Is it the fact that the people you attract are the wrong types, or you're not interested in the people who are interested in you? What's the problem? Because as I look at you, I'd do anything to be you. Because, I mean, you've got the look, you've got the career, you've got the personality. There's not a lot wrong, yet you're still looking. That's fascinating to me. I think you can't force it, can you? And, I'm not, I've been on dates, met various women, but they just don't fill me up, I suppose. They're just not someone that I want to spend time. Maybe I'm not ready yet. I don't know in my own mind, but I would love to meet someone that I can relate to, that I can have a laugh with, someone understands, and we can, go on that journey together. Yeah, I'm not getting any younger, and 30's fast approaching. So why don't I call Megan for you? One of those temper tantrums, I think they go down very well. You'd love that. No, I don't think I could put up with that. I want someone easygoing that I can have a laugh with. I've done my tiptoes all the time, wouldn't I? The other thing is, though, I mean, you've got such a great life right now, and I see, when we look at your Twitter and things like that, you're out living the Playboy lifestyle, and it really is, it's hedonistic and fun. Are you ready to give that up yet? Because it sounds great, sort of having the slippers under the table and the 2 kids in the bedroom, but at the same time, you can't be out clubbing every night, meeting wonderful people who are probably even hotter than you are. Yeah, I'm not actually. I don't go out that much, to be fair. If I do, I go. Clubbing is not my kind of thing, but more like some nice restaurants and cocktail bars and stuff. It's a bit more. You can talk to people a bit more, etc. But yeah, I'll give it up definitely for the right girl. I'd give it all. Of course, I would. And in terms of fitness, how long is your day spent in the gym trying to look like you do? Well, to be fair, I take it serious, but I'm not religious about it, because it can take over your life. I was going through a stage where, I was watching everything that I ate, and if I ate something that weren't right, I get depressed about it. It can really take over you, that, you get insecure in yourself, do you know what I mean? So, now I've just thought, I train hard, I train 5 days a week, about an hour and a half a day, and I eat healthy, but if I want a chocolate bar at some point, I'll have one and sod it. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that I let take over my life anymore.
How do you view your life? When you walk in a room, do you see yourself as the hottest guy in there, or do you see yourself as intimidated? Because I'm interested by confident people. You're not all as cocky as you appear to be.
No, I don't think that's true. I think I hold my head high, and I'm proud of who I am, and everybody should be. And if I walk in a room with lots of people, I think some people naturally have a presence. You know, you can't put that presence on because you sniff it out like a rat.
Right.
Someone putting a bravado on. You know, just people naturally do have a presence. But, you know, I think I like to think I'm a very open person, and I think one of my skills in life is making other people feel comfortable. I go out of my way to make someone feel relaxed and, you know, feel comfortable in my company. And I think that's important to be successful in life. You need to be able to be a people's person. It's all about people, and those people that have that ability will always do well.
Do you think you chose this, or this is something you're blessed with, I don't know, either from your parents or a higher being? Where did you gain that confidence and drive? Because most people couldn't care less. They're too busy either playing football or on computers as a kid. You were busy trying to work out, even at school, how to make money.
Absolutely, because, you know, when I was younger, you know, my parents split, and, you know, financially, you know, the family business went, and we had it tough. So we all had to go to work, you know, my dad, myself, we had to go out there and you know, and get it all back. And that drove me forward to, you know, to one day be able to have that security that it doesn't happen again. And I think anybody that has that drive and ambition, something's hard happened to them in life. And that's what gives me the drive and ambition today.
Do you have any regrets? Is there anything you wish you could have done differently? I mean, The Apprentice, for example, I wouldn't be talking to you now, just a businessman from Chesterfield, unless you'd been on there. So I guess that was something that was a great decision and worth doing.
I mean, regrets is a funny word, because whether words regret or not, I mean, of course there's things in life that I would do different 100%, but at the time they were the right decision, or maybe the wrong decision. But you can't, you know, if you regret it, then you get to be dwelling on it and thinking about it all the time, and it'll drive you mad. So you just have to kind of move on, learn from it, and keep going.
And the Big Brother thing, of course, is relevant right now. Within a week, there'll be a new sort of champion of Celebrity Big Brother. What advice would you give them? Because, as I say, for a couple of weeks, you're on every TV show, you're dragged around by PRs, having to talk to idiots like me, and then suddenly you're back in the real world. Do you need something strong to go home to, and a career and a bigger plan? Because it will be quickly forgotten, won't it?
Absolutely, and this is what I say, you need your mother hen. I think this is what happens, is that, you know, if you don't have that mother hen or that something to fall back on, that's when you can get sucked into it, and you start doing little things that maybe you wouldn't do if you didn't have to do them to survive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, choices.
You know, so you do need that mother hen and have something to fall back on, and, you know, hopefully something good comes for all of them. But, you know, that it doesn't change your life. It doesn't. Yeah. Unless you're one of those lucky ones that's got something completely unique or have that lucky break.
I know a lot of stars go in there to pay their tax bill and survive. Did it make any difference to you financially?
Oh, wow, of course, yeah. I mean, Celebrity Brothers are a massive payer. And for me, it was a business decision as well. I mean, the amount of money they paid me, I had to do it.
Right.
Just from a business perspective. I mean, it was consolidated, and I weighed it all up. But, you know, it was an amazing opportunity for me to earn some money that I could then utilise going forward in business. So, you know, that's just another platform for me to go forward.
Are you amazed how seriously people take it? When I see those big tantrums and people kicking off, it does seem ridiculous for 3 weeks of your life when you know you're on a show and being filmed. They do take it awfully seriously, don't they, some people?
Absolutely. And you know what? You just got to be a bit smarter in the game sometimes and realise where you are, the environment you're in, and just remember it's a game. Remember that this is not real life. And just, you know, I think the people that win that, I think they do well, are those that are able to adapt to other people's personalities and swallow. You have to swallow a hell of a lot in there. and not what you're going to say next.
I wasn't even thinking that.
But you do, and be able to just forget about it and move on.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get annoyed in there and someone rile you up, and you can just keep hanging about forever, but you just got to put it behind you and just think, you know what, I ain't rising to it. What's next?
Don't rise to it, put it behind you and swallow. That's your 3 bits of advice for Celebrity Big Brother.
You've got it.
Hey, listen, it's been lovely talking to you. Very finally, did you manage to get any of those things in your contract where you could take your phone in or your iPad or your laptop or get a spare bedroom or a couple of nights sleep in a different room? Because it seems that's the way now, isn't it, to negotiate those little treats?
Depends how much of your diva you are, but I was quite happy to get in there, take my money,
and
do
run.
the job and get out.
Yeah. Hey, listen, James Hill, it's been great talking to you. True personality, and I wish you best with the pantomime. Is that something you're looking forward to? I mean, it's a lot of hard work for a start, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I'm looking forward to doing a bit of acting, because that's something as well that maybe at some point, you know, I might decide to take up, you know, movies or acting or something. It's something we've been speaking about. So this will give me a little bit of indication to whether I can or I can't.
Oh, Christ. Are you going to be the next Hugh Grant? Is that what you're telling me?
Next Leonardo DiCaprio, watch out.
Good luck with everything. You can find him on Twitter, and tell us again, you're in Liverpool, aren't you, at the Epstein Theatre for pantomime in March?
And my calendar's still out as well. It's still available.
Yeah.
February.
Can I just be perfectly honest with you? The last thing I need to do in the morning is wake up and see you on my wall. I'm depressed enough. Thank you, though. It's very kind. It's a nice offer, but...
Daily inspiration.
Hey, great to talk to you. James Hill, find him on Twitter and see him in Panto in Liverpool this spring. Great to talk to you.
Yeah,